Hey guys, we promised you another very special guest, and I'm going to let her tell more about her work, but we're going to have a series of investigative interviews, if you will. And we're going to talk today about the health benefits of singing, the magic of music, if you will. We're talking with Dr. Veronica, and first off, Dr. V, tell us a little bit more about the background that led you to us today.
Hello, Cameron. Thank you so much for inviting me on your program. So, indeed, there are so many magical musical health benefits of singing, and singing is a great passion of mine. I'm a family physician based in Scotland, and I guess right at the beginning of my career choice days, I was torn between a career in music and a career in medicine. And little did I know that actually the two would be very intertwined. And I've been a singer since before I could talk, just like the ABBA song. That's true. And in fact, before humans could talk in general, we used to communicate with each other in tonal sounds in singing. Singing is one of the most natural things that we can ever do. And I have always been interested in my own passion of singing, but also how that can affect your health and what health benefits there are to be found therein. I've done a lot of study on this and a lot of research, and I actually run a lot of workshops and singing classes, and I have a piano in my consulting room, and I could talk forever. So I don't know how long you've got, but ask me as many questions as you want.
I can say firsthand experience here. We talked a little bit about some of the life challenges that have been facing us lately. And you notice a couple of weeks ago, I just felt a need to do music again because I've just gotten busy with life and I stopped singing and all that stuff. So I just started doing a few covers, and one thing led to another. Now I'm doing them every day. And I've noticed whenever I'm singing and doing songs, whatever that help me get through that day or whatever, I feel better. Why is that?
That's wonderful. Are you talking about singing the covers or playing the covers?
I,
Or
s-
playing
I
an
sing
instrument?
to I sing to an acoustic track.
Wonderful. Okay. Everything is frequency, everything is vibration. That's all there is. And singing is a bit like getting direct access to your heart, to opening your heart and lifting your own vibration or the frequency of every cell in your body. And some people would rather run naked down the street than they would sing a song because you can't hide yourself when you sing a song. It's the truth. It's the truest form of expressing ourselves. But that's what all humans need. That's what the soul needs. We need to express ourselves and who we are, because each one of us is completely unique and has our own frequency and vibration, if you like to call it that. And so when we sing, we're really in our own flow where our hearts are open and we are our true, authentic selves. And do you know that when we actually then sing with other people, our hearts start beating in synchrony very quickly within a few minutes?
Wow.
So the flock becomes one. It's truly wonderful. Also, when you sing, you release wonderful, happy hormones that make you feel good. Runners run because they get their endorphins, but when you sing, you release a particular hormone called oxytocin, which is a hormone that the love hormone that causes people to fall in love, or the mother to fall in love with their newborn child. When you sing together, you start using lots of oxytocin in the brain, and you just feel, you can't help but feel good. You can't help it.
Now, is there a difference between the higher and the lower register as far as how those affect your feelings and moods as well?
That's a really interesting question, because I also work in my clinical work with frequency and the voice and the brain. And each of your, how do I put this? I'll start with this. So we have energy centers going up the center of the body. Some people call them chakras. I prefer to call them energy centers because then it's got less of a sort of gypsy in a yurt kind of feeling, but they're the same thing. We have energy centers going up our body. So we have the first energy center, which is right at the base of our bodies, our legs, and where our reproductive organs are. And then we have the second energy center, and the third, and the fourth is the heart, and the fifth is the neck and our voice and our thyroid, and then the sixth. Anyway, we go up. We can talk about that some other time. But what I'm trying to say is that each of these energy centers has its own vibration or vibrational code, but actually it's the octave. It's C, each of these, you move a tone up with each energy center. And I was actually amazed at that. I didn't
Wow.
realize it till very late on. So yeah, each note, depending whether it's high or low, has its own frequency, which does in fact carry its own emotion. And I do work with frequency and the emotions, and all of our emotions have a specific frequency, which is also specific to us in a way. because you can have so many notes and so many frequencies in one small interval. But each emotion does indeed have a different frequency. And I guess the sadder emotions have a lower frequency and the happier ones have a higher frequency.
There you go. Now, what has maybe been your latest aha moment that of something that you talked about that just a moment ago about learning the different frequencies and the different places that they affect you? What other aha moments have you had of late?
Yeah, that was a total aha moment. And then we get to Fibonacci's number and sacred geometry and all sorts of things. But moving on from that, I think I had a very beautiful sort of stroke aha moment recently when I had a patient who came to see me who was quite depressed. She was a student from China and she was quite lonely, very high achieving girl who'd been sent over by her parents to Scotland to study. I think she was studying some kind of business degree or something. But, her passion was music. And I said to her, why don't you do music then? You can do it. You can join a club, you can join an orchestra, you can join a choir, you can do this. Oh, I'm quite isolated. She said, I don't do very much. I used to play the piano and I have a piano in my consulting room. I said, come on over with me and sit by the piano. And she looked very afraid and said, I don't think I can. I said, well, I'll sit with you. And so she said, just put your hands on the keys and close your eyes and see what happens. Even if you want to sing or you can play. So she started to play a couple of notes and I recognized them very quickly from Bach piece that I did at like my earlier grades when I played the piano at the beginning. And so I said, that's Bach. And she said, oh, yes. And then she had tears running down her face and she starts to play this piece of Bach that she hadn't played for, 12, 14 years since she was a little kid. And I remembered, thankfully, I don't know why, the left hand. So we had this wonderful moment together. We were like consulting him. My receptionist often wonders what goes on, but she still can't take that. And so we played this little simple duet together. And I really realized how precious these moments are and how our brain can retain all that information that we think we've forgotten. When, you have the imprint of the pattern of the music and how your brain remembers to move the muscles of your fingers to play. If you can release some of the sort of conscious thoughts and let the subconscious come in and do its bit, because we only really use about 10% of our brain as a conscious mind, and all the rest of it's our subconscious brain, and all the treasures are stored therein. So I think that was a beautiful stroke aha moment for me to remind myself that we remember so much if we just allow our brain to be free, and then our creativity can really flow.
So is that why adults have a harder time remembering lyrics than you do the lyrics from when you were younger?
Do you mean of a more recently listened to song, or do you mean the older you get, the harder it is to remember the songs from your childhood? I'm not sure what the question is.
No, that it's harder to learn new songs as you get older.
Yeah, I think it can be harder to learn a lot as you get older because your brain's used to being less attentive and thinking, about everything else that you have to do. Have you fed the cat? What's for dinner? Have I paid that bill? Who's at the door? Or how many emails have we got to answer? So I think that's why learning as you get older is a bit trickier. But you can rewire the brain to learn as much as you like. You're not just stuck with the brain you've got. We're constantly growing and evolving and we make new cells every day. But saying that, if you keep doing the same things, you're going to get the same results. So you want to learn in a better way and in more depth, then you have to change how you do it.
And Dr. V, where would folks, if they'd like to find out more about your teachings, about your touring groups, your workshops, where can folks find more information about all that you've got going on?
I'm just renewing my own website. My clinic is called Westbourne Medical Studios, and that's in Glasgow in Scotland. So it's westbournemedicalstudios.com. And I also have I run weekly charity workshops under the name Singing Health, because I really believe that singing is essential for health in general. So I run a workshop every Monday in a little town called Dunblane in Scotland. And I run workshops sometimes in prisons, sometimes in schools, sometimes in the middle of nowhere. So you can find me dotted around the place. So if you look up Singing Health or Westbourne Medical Studios, you'll find out more about me.
All right, Dr. V, it has been great to have this introduction, if you will, and I look forward to catching up again real soon.
Thank you so much, Cameron. It's been great talking to you today.